I got pregnant. And just like that, the entire fairy tale began to dissolve. Slowly, painfully. You know how some moments are so vivid that even if your memory fades with age, that one scene stays crystal clear, frame by frame? That's what this moment was for me. I missed my period. I didn't think much of it at first. Stress, travel, adjusting to married life, I had a dozen excuses to tell myself. But deep down, a part of me already knew. A strange intuition a woman feels even before the confirmation. We had only been married for 1 year. Before marriage, he told me clearly he didn't want children. He said it calmly, almost like he was sharing a quirky personal preference. "I'm not the father type," he said once. "I just want to live life, travel, build memories, just us." But then, later, as our relationship deepened and we got engaged, I remember him softening that stance. He said, "We'll figure it out. Let's just get married first." The way he loved me back then, the way he looked at me like I was the center of his world, made me believe that someday do you want to have children with me? Isn't that what love means? Building a life, a family? He used to hold my face in his hands and whisper, "You're my fairy tale. I'd die to make you happy." So when I missed my period, a whirlwind of emotions took over. I was too afraid to take the test at home. He could walk in. He could see the evidence. And I wasn't ready to face his reaction, not without knowing for sure. So I went to the mall. Yes, the mall. The cold, sterile, impersonal public bathroom of a shopping mall. That was where I would find out if I was going to be a mother. I bought 3 tests. My hands trembled as I ripped open the first box, locked myself in a stall, and waited. 2 minutes. 2 pink lines, my heart raced, my knees weakened. My hands went cold. Second test, same result. Third test, positive again. I sat there for what felt like forever, frozen. My mind raced with a million thoughts. I should have been smiling, calling my mother, tearing up with joy. Instead, I was staring at the floor of a public bathroom, clutching 3 tests like secrets. I walked out, dizzy numb. My legs carried me straight to the nearest hospital. I needed confirmation. I needed clarity. I needed something official, something real. The nurse gave me a knowing smile as she handed over the results. Positive, just 1 word, but it echoed like thunder in my ears. I didn't even go home. I sat on a bench outside the hospital, took a photo of the result, and sent it to him. No caption, no emojis, no hopeful pretext, just raw truth. And then I waited. I stared at my phone like it held my fate. Minutes passed like hours. My stomach twisted with anxiety. Then it buzzed. A long message. Very long. He told me this pregnancy dropped him into a deep, dark hole he didn't know how to crawl out of. That he felt shattered, lost, ruined. That I had betrayed him. That I had forced him into a nightmare. Reading it felt like being punched in the chest. I was at the mosque. I sat there on the prayer mat, phone in hand, heart in pieces. I hadn't even prayed yet. I fainted. Right there in God's house, crying silently, knees weak, breath stolen. I held my stomach as if shielding my baby from the storm that had just started. "I'm so sorry," I whispered, not because I regretted the baby. No, because I hated that their first moments were soaked in rejection. Because they deserved to be celebrated. Because I always thought my child would be born into love. That day, I didn't just realize I was pregnant. I realized I was alone. The mask had fallen. People always warn you about red flags. But no one tells you how easy it is to ignore them when you re-wearing rose-colored glasses. When you're in love, my heart didn't just break. It exploded into sharp, aching pieces that pierced every corner of my soul. I couldn't speak. I couldn't move. I could only cry. What should have been one of the happiest days of my life turned into an emotional massacre I will carry in my heart forever. Still, somehow, I found strength. I messaged him, I want to leave. I want my passport. I'm going back to my family. He refused. I asked again. I pleaded. No, he said. Let's talk when you're not being dramatic. Dramatic? I had just told my husband I was carrying his child, and he called me dramatic, so I turned off my phone. I walked aimlessly 4 hours, wandering the streets of a country I didn't know, passing strangers, storefronts, trees I didn't recognize. Everything was a blur. I sat on a park bench, watching birds fly freely, envying their ability to escape. I held my belly, spoke to my baby. You're not alone. You are loved, even if it's just by me. I remembered my family, the warmth, the laughter, the safety. I missed my mother, my father's protective presence, my siblings' jokes. All I wanted was to be with people who wouldn't turn away from me, who would celebrate this new life growing inside me. After 4 hours, I turned my phone back on, over 100 missed calls. Messages flooding in, and one stood out. Please come home. We'll figure this out, just come back. I stared at the message, my mind torn. Home? Was it even home anymore? Still, I went. I walked into the house. It was quiet. He was sitting on the couch. He looked up. I was worried, he said. I nodded. No hug, no excitement, no emotion, just distance. I went to bed that night without a single word shared between us. But inside me, a world had already changed. As I lay there in the dark, my hand on my belly, I whispered again, "You are loved." I promise you that. I didn't sleep. The silence was louder than screams. That was the night my fairy tale cracked. The night my dream of love shattered. The night I realized that loving someone doesn't mean they'll love your future. It was the beginning of heartbreak, of strength I didn't know I had, of a story I'd never imagined I'd have to tell.